Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to
Greece's military power is on another level.
When you think of military superpowers, you probably picture the US, China, or Russia. But tucked away in the southeastern corner of Europe, there's a country that's quietly leveling up its arsenal like it's prepping for the next Call of Duty expansion pack. Yep, Greece. And trust me, Greece's military might, it's on another level. Let's start with numbers, because Greece isn't just making upgrades, it's going full cyberpunk. With a massive 28 billion euro defense modernization program, Greece is investing in some serious
cyberpunk
tech.
is a new term I'm seeing nowadays.
It was a video game a couple of years ago. I feel like it's originated from that. It was like a post-apocalyptic, like the not post-apocalyptic, maybe like anarchy, technological anarchy society, that type of thing. I think so. I think that's what I mean.
To prepare its military for the 21st century and beyond. First up, the F-35 Lightning II fighter jets. These stealth aircraft aren't just fast and deadly, they're flying computers, capable of dominating both air-to-air and air-to-ground
The
missions.
air behind in the tail, I don't know if it was gas or what it was. It was very wavy.
Deadly. They're flying computers.
Yeah, that I think it's the gas coming out, the
Oh,
smoke.
wow.
Capable of dominating
That's a
both
lot,
air-to-air
whoa.
and air-to-ground missions. Greece's acquisition of these jets signals a leap into fifth-generation warfare. Then come the Belharra-class frigates, the crown jewels of Greece's naval modernization. These French-built warships are equipped with cutting-edge radar, Aster missiles, and anti-submarine capabilities, allowing Greece to dominate both blue water and littoral zones. On the underwater front, Greece is expanding its Type 214 submarine fleet, which uses air-independent propulsion to remain undetected for long durations. That's bad news for anyone trying to sneak through the Aegean. The shopping list doesn't stop there. The Hellenic armed forces are acquiring modern air defense systems, upgrading missile capabilities, and revamping their communications infrastructure to support a more integrated digital battle space. This isn't just about getting shinier toys either. It's a strategic pivot toward high-tech warfare, integrating next-gen radars, electronic warfare systems, satellite-based intelligence, and networked battle platforms that allow for faster, more informed decision-making. In short, Greece isn't just showing up to the future of war, it's showing up dressed to kill. Now, let's
Whoa.
rewind a bit. Historically, Greece has always had a strong martial tradition. From the ancient Spartans to the Balkan Wars, the Greeks have shown they know how to throw a punch, preferably with a spear. Fast
I
forward
can
to
imagine being inspired by the Spartans, that you also want to have an army that embodies the strength of the Spartans.
Yeah, also, the kind of ongoing conflict with Turkey. They gotta stay ready, so they don't gotta get ready. I feel like that's kind of their outlook. So, they're just, you know, staying ready, preparing, and, should something happen, they will be ready. Of course, they don't want it to happen, but, you never know.
today. Greece ranks 30th globally in military strength, according to Global Firepower. Not quite top 10, but hey, they're still ahead of a lot of countries. And let's be honest, if wars were based on vibes, Greece would be undefeated. Sure, they are not top 10, but have you seen their islands? Wow, that is nice. I need to book a trip as soon as possible.
Wait,
From
I
air
don't get it. He said if it's based on vibes.
He's
Wait,
making a joke.
I don't get the joke. Go back.
Because Greece has vibes, because, of the islands, the Santorini,
Yeah,
and...
but what's the joke?
Oh, they have a lot of vibes, they're not good vibes. So if
What
they...
has to do with the war?
Nothing, he's making a joke.
This was a bad joke.
to
I'll
sea
tell
to
him.
land,
You could edit it out.
Greece's military is stacked, with capabilities that rival much larger nations. And no, they're not just flexing, they mean business. The Hellenic Air Force is leading the charge with its elite trio of aircraft. The Rafale F-3Rs, F-16 Viper upgrades, and soon the F-35 Lightning IIs. These aren't just cool-looking jets, they're sensor-fused, stealth-capable, dogfighting monsters. The Rafales in particular are equipped with long-range Meteor missiles, while the Vipers bring versatility and proven reliability to the table. Once the F-35s arrive, Greece will join the elite club of nations with fifth-generation air power. The Hellenic Navy is equally formidable. While the older Miko-class frigates are getting upgrades, the spotlight is on the French-built Belharra-class frigates. These ships pack cutting-edge radars, missile defense systems, and anti-submarine warfare tools. Basically, floating fortresses. Add in Type 214 submarines with air-independent propulsion, and Greece has a stealthy undersea punch that's hard to counter. Not to mention the fast attack missile boats designed for high-speed coastal warfare, perfect for navigating the tight lanes of the Aegean. Now, onto the Hellenic Army, which might be the biggest surprise of all. Greece operates over 1,300 tanks, including Leopard 2 A6HLs, some of the most advanced tanks in Europe. They also have a strong arsenal of artillery, modernized PZH 2000 self-propelled howitzers, and MLRS systems for devastating long-range strikes. Basically, if you're thinking of rolling into Greek territory, maybe think again. Compared to many of its European neighbors, Greece punches way above its weight. It's like showing up to a bar fight in a full suit of armor, with a drone overhead.
But this is
Greece
like their
isn't just
practice. Like, I guess they're running drills.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is, I like how they do documentaries showing off, the Air Force, I guess, Army, all of that. So I think this is part of it.
buying shiny new toys, it's building a smarter, tech-savvy force behind the scenes.
Oh, this
Let's
looks
talk
scary.
drones. Greece is investing heavily in unmanned aerial systems, UAS, with a growing fleet of reconnaissance drones and early developments in armed UAVs.
Whoever came up with the idea of drones, I wonder, like, the patent, they must be getting paid
Yeah.
for the idea.
These aren't just for spying. They're integrated into Greece's broader strategy for electronic warfare, target acquisition, and battlefield management. Think of it like a flying Swiss army knife, except with better surveillance and fewer corkscrews. On the cyber and electronic warfare front, Greece is leveling up fast.
Let's think about the
It's-
application of the drones. It has so many.
Yeah, it removes the human, especially like in the risky jobs that you can lose your life, to just replace human with a machine to do that. Like, that's incredible. Obviously in air operations, but also like in rescue missions for like going into caves, stuff like that.
For
You
sure.
can send in a drone, or at least you can send in a drone with a camera to see if there's people to be rescued, because sometimes you might send people to go rescue and there's nobody to rescue, and
or to assess the risk.
yeah, to assess the risk, for that type of stuff. No, drones are excellent.
deploying systems that can jam enemy communications, disable GPS networks, and even mislead incoming missiles. In today's battle space, disrupting your enemy's data is like cutting
And exploration too. I feel like, I don't know if they exist already or not, but to explore the deep sea, because humans can't really go that low.
They send the people in the mini sub. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, because we didn't have drones, but I feel like now with technology, possibly we could just send the technology down there with camera and kind of inspect.
off their oxygen. Greece knows it, and it's training its forces accordingly. Missile defense is also getting a high-tech boost. Greece is modernizing its systems with improved radars, better command and control networks, and enhanced interceptor missiles. Whether it's a rogue drone or a more serious threat, the Hellenic armed forces want to shoot it down, and look good doing it. And let's not ignore the domestic defense industry. Companies like the Hellenic Aerospace Industry, HAI, are stepping up with innovation in UAV design, avionics, and system integration. Greece is also
I never understood the mindset in Europe where people go to the military. They're not the brightest of the bunch, but a lot of the jobs they have in the military, they require a lot of brains.
I think the people with the brains, they work in the private sector to create the technologies. The ones that just press buttons. I think that's
But you have to
that's
understand.
trainable.
You have to.
I think
No,
it's like,
you still have to understand
to-
what's
to
going
give you an
on. You can't
example-
just press a button.
to give you an example, there's software developers, software engineers, and then there's Best Buy tech guys. Best Buy tech guys, they just know how to use the software and whatever.
I don't know if this is the
Uh,
correct application because they have to have like training skills. They
Yes,
have to
they do.
jump, run, have the
It's-
physique, the discipline. Like
It's
that's- this
oversimplified.
is
My
oversimplified.
example is oversimplified. I
Yeah.
agree, but it's kind of like, it's similar in a sense that they both in the tech field, but one is you actually start from scratch to develop it, and the other is just like you know how to use it, you know how to reinstall the software, like how to fix something.
Both
This-
important.
both are important. I do agree. I'm just saying the skill level required to come up with something from scratch versus to execute it is way different. So that's why all the brightest brains go into the developing it, and then not so bright.
I don't think they're not so bright. That's the thing. They just
No,
have
okay,
the
not
different talent.
everybody. Not everybody. Of course, some people you
Yeah.
might just choose to go that way.
Yeah.
Yes, there's those, but other people that they can get other opportunities, they do go. And Greece does have, I believe, they still have the mandatory service for men. So everybody goes through. So and part of that,
Yeah.
not just non-brides, but brides go through it too.
also working with European partners on joint research initiatives,
The
meaning they're
non-brides
not
is
just
wrong.
importing tech,
What?
I don't like this term.
Okay, non-brides.
Non-brides. What?
Building it
dims.
That's even more
Dims.
offensive. I'm offended.
So a dims.
You're canceled.
themselves. In short, Greece is embracing smart warfare. They're combining ancient warrior spirit with modern nerd power. And if you think that's not dangerous, ask yourself how you'd fare against a hoplite with a drone controller. Being Greece isn't all feta and sunshine. Strategically located at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, Greece sits in a hot zone. Add long-standing tensions with Turkey, you've got a geopolitical pressure cooker. But Greece.
The thing with the drones is, I believe that, like in Europe, the best drones are made in Turkey. Bayraktar, I feel, because
Why?
that's the
Based on
one that they sent to Ukraine against Russians. The Bayraktars, I think they're
oh,
called.
and only Turkey makes it.
Yes, it's a Turkish drone. So and Greece, ain't no way Greece is buying no
So they have to buy the
nothing for.
second best.
Right, I would think so. Yeah. Or not, maybe
Who's
not
that?
second, but I don't know. I'm not like too familiar, but I know that the Turkish one is the best, and or if not the best, maybe the most used nowadays.
But I
So,
don't think they're gonna say no to money.
oh, Turkey wouldn't say no to them. I just don't think Greece would want to buy from Turkey, because what if there's a backdoor installed, and then when
No,
you
listen,
operate
that's
it,
why I ask you. That's why I ask you when you hear countries buying supply from other countries'
you did
weapons,
ask that question. You
and
did
I
raise that
say, oh,
question.
so
Yes.
how you can trust what they give you? Because you in the fight, you don't know how they feeling when you're on
Um,
your side, not on your side. So they switch up and they give you something a dud, you know. And you told
it's
me, oh, well, they want to have business in the future, right?
that's what
So
I
that's
did
what you
say
told me
that.
that.
Yes,
So
I did
I
say that.
think they can buy it.
Um, yeah, there's
I think they probably would get the one that was sitting on the rack a little longer, but I think they would
I
sell.
don't know. I do believe there's backdoors
I
installed,
would think so
and
too, but you told me no. You're like,
I think
no.
to use a backdoor, it would have to be like the countries directly at war with you, and the country with which you do
I
have a
think it'd just be a
conflict. I
conflict
think
interest. Probably they don't buy.
I would not, in Greece's shoes. I would not buy from Turkey, because you never know.
Has been playing its cards carefully. It's strengthening NATO ties, forging defense agreements with France, Israel,
But
and the US,
listen,
and
we buy
enhancing its.
food from China. Who's to say they don't poison us?
Well, we have the FDAs and whatnot supposedly to inspect it. So
Okay, there's something that's gonna pass through. They cannot check everything.
I,
There's no such thing
right.
as
Well,
perfection.
yeah, but it's a little different. I don't think China is trying to poison us, because without us, they're not gonna make money. And at the end of the day, the
They have
capitalistic
other
society.
options.
So what? They're gonna kill all Americans and
No, but we were acting funny.
I don't know, but I think, like, for Turkey, if there was a backdoor to use such an extreme measure, because it would affect,
I
it would basically
wonder.
fuck up their sales for the rest of
Yeah, that's
history,
why I wonder
right?
if
It would
there's a
be
history of
it.
a backdoor deal.
It
But I think why not if that's a card to
I
play.
I think. Let me put it this way. I do think there's backdoors in that type of software. I just think to use that would be like the last like, you see that you're
Mm,
losing the war, and this is it. At that point, you use it. I think this is like a nuke, basically,
mm,
because you nuke all your business from that point on if you use it. So
mm,
but I do think there's backdoors installed.
mm.
And I wouldn't trust it.
Its presence in the Mediterranean. Diplomacy is like chess. If the board had warships and occasional
And
dogfights.
it's nothing against Turkey. I'm sure America has backdoors in their weapons too, in case they end up in Russian hands, or Chinese hands, or whoever. So I'm not coming for Turkey. I think everybody
Oh,
does it. It's just we're
oh,
talking about
I didn't even
specific
think of
conflict.
that.
Of course we have backdoors. I know. Yeah, we do.
Yup, military service is mandatory in Greece. Every male citizen serves around 9 to 12 months, contributing to national security and building a trained reserve. Think of it as a rite of passage, and a decent way to get in shape while seeing some scenic mountaintops. Come for the national
Oh,
duty, stay for the views and push-ups. You can't talk Greek military power without going old school. From the hoplite phalanx to the triremes, ancient Greece literally wrote the book on warfare strategy. Today, that legacy still inspires the Hellenic armed
yeah, it's
forces.
very
Sure, the weapons
impressive.
have
The war
changed, but the
strategies,
mindset, same.
really impressive.
Courage, discipline, and a flair for dramatic battle entrances. Leonidas had 300. Greece today has thousands, and better Wi-Fi. Public support for military investment is
Mm,
strong. Greeks are proud of their armed forces, and modernization aligns with both national pride and future aspirations. Looking ahead, Greece wants a lean, lethal, and high-tech force. One that can project power, defend sovereignty, and maybe even inspire a few action movies. So the next time someone asks who's punching above their weight in global defense, just point them southeast. Because when it comes to military might, Greece isn't just holding its own, it's setting the bar. Don't forget to like, subscribe.
I think they have to, because Turkey has what, 8 times the population of Greece or so. So
mm,
Turkey has the numbers. For them, they
mm.
have to have the skills, the technology, everything.
And the
So,
attitude.
and the attitude, yes.
Can I see the comments?
But interesting video.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? Finally, someone makes a video about Greece.
You know, if you're interested, you should like read something like battle studies. I think you'd be interested in that.
But isn't that like a war history kind of
Mm,
like
I give you different like strategies in war times
mm,
that you can also apply, like not in war, obviously.
not a war. I love Greece. Long live Hellenism, with your Greek brother from Himara, Albania. I love our brothers in Greece. Viva Armenia, viva Greece, viva Cyprus. We are on this spot of Earth for ages.
I feel like this video is like to hype you up to sign.
They did a good job. I
Mm-hmm.
think if they use it for like recruiting, but
Yeah.
they don't need recruits because they have mandatory, you know. But if they did need recruits,
Wait. So wait, it's mandatory period.
well, for mandatory,
I
he
thought,
said
I
mandatory
thought,
for what 6 to 12 months or something like that.
I thought if there's a
No,
active
no, no,
war,
no, no.
then it's mandatory service. I didn't know like mandatory period.
Everybody goes through it.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a constant stream of recruits. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, 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 share as much kindness as possible.